you can obviously do medicine by leaving the state. We hope that you don't have to, but some people do, of course. But I'm going to talk mostly about California. To talk about the goals of UC's medical education, which is the one we know best. To discuss the major steps in the admission process, that you understand from our perspective what we will be expecting people who apply for admission to do if they're going to be successful in that process. But to help you understand the overall process. From the outside it looks pretty scary. It is relatively complicated, but it's not incomprehensible. And I'll describe its principal elements. And then to give you a brief update on our plans within UC for what we're going to do in medical education. Okay, we've got a blank screen, that's something. Okay, UC has 5 medical schools. Good. It's always threes are easy to remember and 5s aren't so bad. We have 5 medical schools in UC and they're all wonderful. And I'll give you the numbers of them just so you get a sense of what the incoming class in each is. Closest to here is UC Davis. Wonderful school, doing extraordinarily well. We're very proud of UC Davis. Terrific hospital in Sacramento and a wonderful medical school in Davis and in Sacramento with 105 entering freshmen into that program. UC Irvine in Orange County, similar size, 104 entering freshmen, also a school that's coming forward in leaps and bounds, serving the stage extremely well. UCLA, where I spent a fair slice of my career. In fact, I first came to the United States in 1975 to be a postdoc in the medical school at UCLA. So I know it very well. Wonderful school. 121 entering freshmen, and also 24 in an affiliated program at the Charles R. Drew University of Medicine and Science. A very diverse class. Somebody very keen on Charles Drew. And 24 at UC Riverside, also in an affiliated program at UCLA. I'll talk a little bit more about Riverside later. 134 at UC San Diego. Oh, good. We're getting closer. 134 at UC San Diego, entering class. UC San Diego, also an extremely successful medical program, going ahead in leaps and bounds. And UC San Francisco, 150. Dr. Nation is a graduate of UC San Francisco, and that is, without a doubt, one of the greatest medical schools in the world. UC San Francisco is our oldest school, very strong, powerful, wonderful school, and extraordinary research and wonderful medical care. Initially it was part of Berkeley, it became so strong that it was actually at one stage had more research grants than the rest of Berkeley combined, and that's when the faculty said, well, we think we should become an independent university, just for the health sciences and the regents of UC agreed that that should be so. Berkeley also has 16 students in an MD and PhD program. So that's UC, it's very rich, a total of 680 entering freshmen to the University of California. Now we're planning to grow that number. Actually, in the coming decades, quite a lot, but it's growing each year. So each year that number is getting bigger. We also have 3 terrific private schools in California. Loma Linda University in the Inland Empire, right here, UC Riverside. Stanford University. Loma Linda has 176. Loma Linda draws its students from all around the world. It has as you know, it's a Seventh-day Adventist school. But Californian kids can get in for Loma Linda. It's well trying, well worth applying. Stanford, an extraordinary school, but smaller than most, 86 students per year. And USC, quite large, University of Southern California. It's hard for a person who's been at UCLA to say very fine school, USC. But I have to be honest, it is a very fine school. Dreadful football team. But 168 students at USC. So, and there are also 2 Austin Catholic schools, a different philosophy of medical education, but it's a fine way to become an MD. The Western University with 209, so that's the largest university in the state, and Touro University with 135. So there's nearly 1,500 medical student places in California as freshman admits each year. So that's a lot more than there are people in this room. So this is quite achievable. So there's lots of opportunity, and they're all very fine schools. one great thing about California is we're very well served by our institution. The UC educational mission, and I wish it could be up there because it is. Oh, it will be, okay, there's the total. It's terrific. Oh, you're holding on too far. Okay, the educational mission at UC. Well done, folks. UC medical schools are committed to the preparation of future physicians who will be individually successful as doctors, no matter what they do, but collectively successful in meeting a very broad range of societal needs as clinicians, providing patient care, teachers, helping to prepare the next generation of physicians and nurses and dentists, public health workers, whatever, and researchers and leaders. So that's very much a part of our mission. And the people of California have been very direct with us over the years. Don't just make narrow doctors. Make people who have the potential to do a broad range of things. And we take that extremely seriously. So that means we focus a lot on science in the broadest sense. We expect our graduates to be really flexible and creative in their thinking, to be able to do many, many different things as healthcare evolves, and to be able to go into different specialties, obviously, but also to become researchers and leaders. Because as you know, medicine is advancing rapidly. It advances so rapidly that we can't afford to pay for some of the things that we invent. Some of the new therapies are wonderful, but extremely expensive. We need people who can continue to advance and can help make the ethical decisions necessary about how to apply all of those wonderful things. So as we look at admissions, and now I'm going to focus on UC, and I'll tell you about the UC admission process. And I hope you aspire to this one, because we believe that we set the gold standard for the quality of our education, the quality of our doctors, and the quality of our admission process. So we want a talented and diverse group. We work very hard to make sure that our class is as diverse as it can be. And our medical school admission people take that extremely seriously. And I'm very proud of what our schools achieve in diversity. You know that Proposition 209 doesn't allow us to take race and ethnicity into account, but we do look very hard at people who have worked hard to overcome disadvantage in their upbringing or their educational opportunity. And we do everything we can within the law to get as diverse a class as we can, because we know that a diverse class will lead to better education for everybody in the class. And we want doctors who will go out and look after the diverse population of California. So that's a very important part of what we do. So for every applicant, we do a very comprehensive review of academic and non-academic factors that predict academic success. And we have faculty and staff and students who take the process of evaluating people extremely seriously. One of the wonderful things about our medical school admission process is what a strong role students play in deciding who will join their profession. And the profession, of course, plays a very strong role in that as well. And they look at evidence from patients and colleagues. They want the views of patients about whether you will be a good doctor as well. So that's one of the reasons why experience in a clinical setting is actually a helpful thing for you in gaining the letters of support that you need. This next slide looks really scary. 5,000 apply. This is average for each of our schools. And the little thing down on the right-hand side is 125 new people on average entering each of our schools. Now this is not as scary as it looks. There are 5,000 people applying, 1,200 supplemental applications, 600 of those are chosen for interview. So don't be broken-hearted if you apply and when you get to that stage you don't get interviewed. Only 1 in 10 will get, well, a bit better than 1 in 10 will get interviewed. Then 250 offers of admission and 125 enter. Now, this looks, you might say, goodness me, I can't possibly deal with that. But lots of people apply, as I guess you know, to lots of schools. So that's why that left-hand side is so large. And it's sensible to apply to a number of schools. Think about where you want to go and have several applications. It's quite sensible.